it's been a while. I don't know. You probably don't remember, but I interviewed a couple times before Bellator. And man, I just want to start off and say congratulations for all the success thus far.
Thank you, man. It's been good. Yeah, everything's been good.
And more importantly than MMA, I just want to say congratulations for your second healthy baby, man. That's so awesome. I was so happy to hear that.
Thank you, bro. That's I appreciate that for real. Yeah, the whole procedure of having a baby is overlooked a lot of times. It's a serious thing to have done, and I'm just happy to have two healthy babies from it.
And so last fight was a phenomenal performance. It's supposed to be this big prospect versus prospect matchup, and you just showed that you were levels above him. Um,
Yeah.
you know, what was your major takeaways from this fight?
Man, going into the fight, I knew this, man. I knew that we were at the same point of our career. We're just two different levels, and I say that behind scenes a lot to like coaches and teammates and stuff. But yeah, I just knew that. I just knew that I was gonna get the finish and I was just that much better than him. Um and my biggest takeaways from that fight is man, that I like to fight. I'm not just I mean that I've shown that in other fights too, but I'm not just a wrestler who just wants to get out there and wrestle. I definitely um do like wrestling in fights. I do like mixing it up and making it a full MMA fight and doing that, but I'm not afraid to exchange on our feet.
Yeah, that's a great point you make because I feel like every time you get, a high level wrestler and they transition to MMA, it's like, all right, we got to see, is he really an MMA fighter or is he going to end up being a wrestler and an MMA fighter? And you've obviously proved
Yeah,
that you've evolved way past that. But,
yeah,
you know, on June 16th, they, no disrespect to Montalvo at all, but you're officially now with the big dogs. Emmanuel Sanchez has a lot of experience. What was
yeah.
your reaction when you got offered this fight?
I was like, well, I understood that a few weeks before June 16th, I'm gonna have a baby. That was my biggest concern. I was like, damn, are we gonna juggle this? Can we juggle this? What's it gonna do? So hung up the phone on my manager, talked to my wife. We got on the same page. And then it talked to my coaches, and then it was just all excitement. I understand what I'm getting myself into. Like I understand that inexperience alone and MMA experience, right? He's got levels on me. He's been world title challenger. He's got 28 fights. He's 20-8. He's got 28 fights. I have 7 professional fights. That would mean that he's got 4 times the amount of fights that I have. I understand that. I'm excited to put myself against somebody who has that kind of exposure and that kind of experience upon me, so I can prove to like people like you who want to do interviews and myself most importantly that I am that guy. I do believe I'm capable of winning this fight, and not only winning, but I believe that I'm capable of finishing this fight, and I want to prove that um, in this fight.
And so, on paper, he's on a 4-fight losing streak. I think that's a little bit overrated because you look at the names, a lot of them were close
Yeah.
fights. But with that said, do you view his recent stretch as, well, maybe the end is near for him, or, it's just been a bad luck? It happens in MMA. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way.
Well, let's start off the losing streak. He lost to Pitbull,
Yeah.
arguably one of the best ever. So that's a tough loss to take for anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or at least one not to judge somebody's career off of. All
Mm-hmm.
right, then he folds right into a couple of guys where he just kind of got out grappled. They're just better wrestlers than him, took him down and just out wrestled him and just won the decision that way. And then he kind of got outpointed on his feet his last fight. None of them really is showing signs as just like, man, this guy just doesn't want to fight. This guy
Mm-hmm.
just doesn't want to be here. He's just taking some losses. He's a little bit older in his career. He's taking some losses. I'm not going into this being like, man, this is cake because he's on a 4-fight losing streak. And he's just not here anymore. His heart's not in it. He's just taking a fight to take it. No, like I understand that his back against is against the wall, and he, um, he understands the position that he's in with the company and with Bellator and with his career. So I'm expecting his deadliest, most dangerous version, right? And with that, he better be expecting mine.
And so, without giving up any type of your game plan, how do you see this fight kind of playing out?
Oh man, well, like I said, um, I'm not afraid to exchange and fight on our feet. So every fight starts in that position. So we'll test that out, and we'll see how that goes. But just like the fight before this, with the Montalvo fight, like I planned on being, pretty grappling heavy. I know I got the one takedown, he got back up, but that's only you only got to see 2 minutes of a fight, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So the next 14 or 13 minutes, there was going to be a lot of other grappling exchanges. Same with this fight. Like I plan on grappling. I'm not afraid of grappling. I know he's a little slick off his back, throws up some triangles, some good submissions. But it's going to be an MMA fight, and we'll see who's more well-rounded.
And so I know there, when it comes to MMA, there's so many factors that go into the future with injuries, layoffs, anything could happen. But with the win against Sanchez, how do you see the rest of the year playing out? Because, my opinion, I really don't think it matters that much, but I think you win this fight, you're 2 wins away from a title shot, maybe even one. But the problem is the whole division's locked up with the Grand Prix right now.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm not even. I am obviously looking at the title
Of
because
course.
that's the goal,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's not in my It's not in my forefront. I'm not just like sitting here because the truth is that title is locked up for about another year, right? So I got to
Mm-hmm.
continue in that year. I want to stay active. Let's say a year from now, I want to be, had 4 more fights. So then when it is, you know, not tied up in a tournament anymore, like I've made a claim for myself to be like, all right, these guys had their shot. They all were in the tournament together. This is how it unfolded. I'm ready. I just gotta continue to do my job each and every fight, like I have been, and that'll lead to the things that we all know can happen.
So speaking of the Grand Prix, have you been following it? Because I mean, these are all potential future opponents of yours.
Yeah, yeah. I was well, there's only been there 2 fights. No, there's been 3 fights, right? Yeah. So Chablis and Masayev, that fight, I didn't think it would go that way, um, but it did. Um, I honestly, if I'm being honest, I didn't think any of the fights would go the way that they did. Not like I didn't think these guys would win. I thought Nurmagomedov would win. I just didn't think he'd knock him out like that, or
Mm-hmm.
knock him down and then finish him the way he did him so fast. Um, the Brent Primus fight, and I didn't really think that it would go that way. I don't know. I guess I just didn't know what I thought. I have been keeping up. Um, these guys are all dogs. Um, they're all veterans, got a lot of fights. So they've been fun to watch.
So I mean, we have a long way to go, but who do you think is going to win?
No idea. I think if you went on money line, I think Nurmagomedov's probably the one to
Hmm.
take. Well, not if you're a betting man, but if you're just a word of mouth betting man, that's probably the guy to take. But I don't know. I think if I had to, I'll just do a final matchup. I think AJ McKee versus Nurmagomedov.
Man, yeah. Last thing I'll just say about this, I just gotta get it off my chest, man. If that fight could happen, oh my gosh, because Nurmagomedov obviously looks unbeatable, but AJ McKee is one of the best in the world, and now you're gonna cut his weight cut off 10 pounds, and he still has the power. Oh my god, I could talk about it all day,
Yeah.
but let's focus back on you. Do you know how many fights left are on your contract?
Well, I just finished my contract. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
had finished. I signed a 4 fight. I fought the 3 out. We re-signed. And now we're re-up for another 3 or 4. So we'll see.
A little bit more money?
Of course.
Oh, that's not what I was hoping for. All right. All right. Last question. Last question for me.
Yes, sir.
When will you be the Bellator light heavyweight or lightweight champion? If you had to guess, the end of 2024 into 2025. Well, what's your prediction?
Man, the goal that I set to myself was just pre-30. Before
Mhm.
I'm 30 years old, I'm going to be the world champion in a major organization. So right, that was before I ever signed to Bellator. I'm signed with Bellator now. So before I'm 30, I'm going to be 28 in July. So within the next 2 years, I'll claim that belt. I have no idea. Like we said, I have no idea how this is going to all plan out.
Mhm.
But that's pre-30.
And that's all I have for you today, man. I really appreciate your time. It's always an honor to interview, and I hope for the best in your upcoming fight.
Thank you, sir. I
Yep.
appreciate it. Look forward to next time.
Yep. Have a great rest of your day.
You too, man.